Alright guys, I'm going to try to keep this one short today. Where I'm at right now, there's a lot of things that I could talk about that I know that's going to cause a lot of confusion. If it ain't going to cause confusion, it's going to cause anger. So the power's in your hands. We're going to talk about the self for a minute. Not selfishness. There's a difference. Okay? Have you ever thought maybe we don't need to be going to our priests, to our politicians, to our presidents, to our gurus, to our Congress, to what they call our representatives, and instead start doing some inner work? There was a quote this man brought up. He said, we need to do a lot of inner work. We spend too much time trying to escape it. Everybody's reaching out for something, trying to find a way to find wholeness. Because whether it be the pseudo-self, which is one that is created to make everybody else happy, or the ego, which is constantly fragmented, constantly changing, and we keep trying to reach out for other people to give us wholeness, that we forget about the self. From the time that we're born to the growing up into adulthood, we are constantly being created and molded into the image that someone else wants. It's like, one of the things I hear all the time is, oh, this new trend's really gonna, if I go buy this Versace, or I go buy this Nike pair of shoes, it's really gonna bring out my individuality. Really? Was it something that you created? No, you bought a brand, something that's copied. It might make you feel good for the moment. It's like showing up, and then you have those moments where you get these women that get really pissed off because they show up to the prom, or they show up to a dance, or they show up to some party or something, and there's another woman wearing the same dress they're wearing. There you go. Well, this can be said with anything. Even with politics. You can't move the bloody furniture on the Titanic and think it's going to change. That son of a bitch is going down. And it doesn't matter where you put the furniture or how you move it. It's going down. And somebody else said this to me today, and I'm not going to name who it was, but it was an excellent point. We have these... Actually, before I get to that, I'm going to say something else. Everybody wants to talk about evil, and this sorcery, and this magic, and this satanic stuff that they're doing. Do you realize how simple this is? It's not actually, magic with using a magic wand, or praying to the moon, or dancing naked in a circle and over a fire. Sure, they use certain words. Talismanic words over and over and over again. Or you repeat the lie often enough, people will believe it. Who said that? One of the most evil people in history. One of them. But it's true. That's talismanic words. This propaganda. It's also called sorcery. Yes, people. Magic, sorcery can be as simple as, somebody said the perfect example of this was in, anyone that's awake, that has an educated mind and this stuff, can watch Conan the Barbarian. He said, you want to see the very definition of power? He looks over at the woman and goes, jump off that cliff. And she does it. Why is that? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because the people who are in power have spent all their time while you're working understanding the psychology of your mind and your brain and certain subjects and certain groups. And they can even make you think that their style, their version of freedom is freedom. But people, we're still inside the cell. There's a lot of us that are still sitting inside the cell and the prison door's wide open. And you know what we're doing? Some of us are trying to pull you guys out of it, and you're still asking the prison guard if it's okay to leave. The institutionalized man looks at the guard. All his friends are standing shoulder to shoulder with him. And that door's wide open. But the institutionalized man is innocent. But yet he's still in a cage. The door's wide open. And everybody, and the people on the outside that care are saying, let's go. Come on, let's leave. And you all are still looking at the guard asking if it's okay. And you know what the guard's answer to your question is? When you ask him if it's okay to leave, you know what he says? He says, let's take a vote on it. Then you're stuck in there, for 2 or 3 more years. While the rest of us are still standing outside of the door going, reaching our hands out to you saying, come on, let's go. And then 3 years more later comes down the line, you're still asking the prison guard, is it okay to leave? And he looks at you and says, well, let's take a vote on it. You see, you don't have to be put in a FEMA camp. You don't have to be put behind bars to be institutionalized. It's all in here. It's in the brain. Okay? That is sorcery. That is what they're using against you. Granted, we've seen the Bohemian Grove video, where they're praying to a 50-foot owl and screaming and yelling and running around in robes and shit, but that's not where their power lies. And they show us this in several different aspects of life. You got Democrat, you got Republican, you got Gandalf, the White Wizard, and then you got Solomon. You got yin, you got yang. In multiple different cultures it's seen. But understand, the most simplest form of this cult evil and sorcery is them having control of the mind. But people are afraid to look at their own shadow. Look inside themselves for the answers, for their wholeness, because they might see something there that scares them that they don't want to face. Because that right there is true freedom. That is true independence and true individuality. And that is what they're taking from us. Whether we believe it or not, and whether you can stand there and say, I'm a conservative, I hate the collective. When you sit there and and the Titanic sinking, and you're running around trying to move the furniture on the deck, instead of trying to get on that lifeboat, or the prison doors open for you, and people are saying there, come on, let's go, and you want to sit there and take a vote. That's like saying, I am who I am because of everyone. No. Did you ever think maybe that what they think their version of freedom is also collective? It's not true independence. True independence is written in that Constitution. It's written in your heart, it's written in your soul, and it's written on yourself. Asking the prison guard if it's okay to leave, he's always going to look at you and say, because he knows it works. Let's take a vote on it. Then you're standing there for 3 years in your prison arguing with the other people on whether or not you should leave or not. You've got to go to the self. We got to stop moving the damn furniture on a sinking ship.